This I wanna nail sports to the bone. Top blogger, top YouTube channel. No matter which sports, here we got it covered. Subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Hello, Sports to the Bone viewers. Welcome back to another video. Today we have a very special guest with us, right? Former West Indies captain, now CWI Director of Cricket, Sir Jimmy Adams, right? And we are definitely happy to know that he took the time out to be here with us. And basically, we're just going to be going through his cricketing career. As we know, he would have played 64 test matches and 127 ODIs for the Caribbean team. So we're just going to get to know him some more. So once again, Sir Adams, thanks for joining us.
No problem, big man. Good to be here.
All right, nice. All right, so let's get straight to it now. Place of birth.
Well, I was born in Kingston at St. Joseph Hospital, but at the time, the family was living in a place up in the Trelawny bush called Ulster Spring. Okay, so you can either say technically I was born in Ulster Spring or technically I was born in Kingston, but the birth certificate will say St. Joseph Hospital.
So what was it like growing up though in Trelawny? What was it like growing up there?
I didn't grow up in Trelawny. I actually grew up in Port Maria. By the time the family moved there when I was about maybe 2 years old, or maybe even less. So all of my youth was spent in Port Maria. I went to primary school here. It was a good life for a youth my age. There was a lot to do, in the country. I don't know if you have spent time there, but between
I am actually from Senton, so yeah.
Yeah, man. So you have the sea in front of you and the hills behind you, and a whole lot of things to do. And then sports wise, we played a lot of football and cricket at primary school. So it's like half of the year from September to December you play football, and then from January time you do a little track and field and then cricket. So there's a lot of cricket and football, but the parish itself, when it comes to primary schools, the parish is St. Mary plays a lot of primary school cricket. So I actually played quite a bit of cricket for the primary school in the parish competition while I was growing up there and stuff like that. So it was good, man. As a youth growing up in the country, it was good.
It was good. So we're talking about which primary school and high school in that part of the country.
Yeah, so I went to Port Maria Primary in Port Maria itself, and then once I left primary school, I came to Kingston and went to Jamaica College. High school. I did my high school in Kingston. Yeah, man.
Okay, good. All right. So what was it like in and around the family in terms of cricket? Was it a family that really gravitated towards cricket, or it was just a couple of you guys that really loved the game like that?
Well, my father's side of the family really loved cricket, and my father played cricket a little bit when he was in school, and he always had a love for the game. And I used to watch my father and his friends down in Port Maria there. They used to knock about a little bit in the backyard, and they had a real passion for it. And then the road that I grew up on, my little community, my village outside Port Maria there, we had a lot of youngsters my age. I had two brothers that are very close in age, and we had other guys who live on the road very close to me. And all of us did the same thing. We played, if it's not football, it's cricket. So you go up, you see it around. Your father used to talk about it, and when cricket is on the radio, you used to see how he used to follow it with a passion. And once in a while, he would drive into Kingston and go and watch a game, and he would take me with him. And so, he helped to facilitate the love for it. Yeah. But then there were a group of us close in age growing up who also used to play football and cricket, as much, two main sports. So that was where the initial love for it was developed. And then, very soon, I was standing on my own 2 feet in terms of the passion that I had. I wasn't living out. And so, and the cricket system then took over, it kind of sucked me into primary school cricket, high school cricket, and so on. Yeah.
That was the next question. I was going to ask you if it was at Port Maria Primary or Jamaica College that you started playing competitively. I know that you and your brothers.
No, primary school, man. Primary school.
Oh, you started with primary.
Yeah, man. It's a strong primary school competition in those days in St. Mary. So Yeah. We used to play. School used to give out half day when the school was playing a cricket
When-
game. So yeah, man,
yeah.
big. It was yeah. We had about over 1,000 students in those days,
Whoa.
and they used to be happy when we had games because they knew they would get half day school to go and support the team
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all of that. So yeah, it was and the town of Port Maria themselves used to support the team as well because we used to get good turnouts for primary school games.
From oh, nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I gather back then, people were really passionate about cricket. These days, we mostly getting the support in high school where track and field football is concerned. I do a little bit of cricket coaching, so
Yes.
where the turnout is concerned, it's mostly the football and the track and field. I still have the passionate cricket fans, but back then, because I gather
Yes.
because of our dominance, the West
Yes.
Indies team, people really gravitated towards that.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think the passion is still there, but I
Yeah,
think, as you said, it is probably tied into it is probably tied into
dominance,
the relative strength of the
dominance.
of the
Mhm.
international team. Yeah, but there was
Yeah.
certainly a lot of support at the primary school level. The crowds that we had at primary school, I didn't see
Mm-hmm.
those crowds again until I started playing for Jamaica. So there's no high school game that I have ever
Oh,
played in that carried. Yeah, man, hundreds of people used to
yeah.
come out and watch a primary school play. Yes, man. Yes, man. Well,
Mm.
if you think about a school of over 1,000 children, if say half
Yeah,
of
yeah,
them
it's a
watching the
lot.
game, so that's 500 right there.
500. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for
And
primary
you
school
don't even
cricket.
start getting to know the people, the
People
people in Port Maria who leaving work to come and
like,
watch a primary school play. So there was a
mm,
lot of yeah.
oh. So I gather you went through Port Maria, as you said, Jamaica College. So you started representing Jamaica at the under 15 level while at Jamaica College, or
No, we didn't have,
how
we
did the
didn't have, we didn't
first
have,
national
yeah,
team?
we didn't have under 15
15.
regional in those
Oh,
days. We only had under 19. So
yeah. Mhm.
I would have gone through, you perform at high school level and you go to trials and you do well in trials. That
Mhm.
that sort of system, and then from trials you get into the national under 19 team. So I first played under 19 cricket in. Let me see if I can remember that far, but no,
Yeah.
probably in 83. So I would have been
Yeah.
about 15 years old when I debuted for Jamaica at
Oh.
under 19 level. Yeah.
Oh, so at that time, was it the same role that we would have come to know you in West Indies in terms of you being a solid middle order batsman or bowling your orthodox, or were you opening? What was it like playing in the
Well,
junior system back then?
I started as a slow bowling all rounder. So I batted
Yeah.
I think about 7 or 8 in my
Oh, okay.
first year in youth cricket bowling orthodox. I didn't do very well. I played one game and struggled and didn't play anymore
Mm-hmm.
that year. And then
Oh.
by 1984 now, when youth cricket went to 5 games, it was the first time
Mm-hmm.
in regional youth cricket that everybody was going to play everybody won. What used to happen is that they
Yeah.
used to split it into 2 zones and you played
Yeah.
2 games and potentially a final if you got to the final. So in
Okay. Because I'm seeing it
1984,
here. Mhm.
yeah, go on.
No, I'm seeing it here. 84, 85. That's when you really you made it to the senior level, right? When you
Yeah,
made that transition.
but the pathway was through youth cricket. So I went to the youth
Mm-hmm.
tournament in '84, and I had a good all-round performance, batting and bowling. By then,
Okay.
no, I was starting to bat at. I would have been batting maybe 5
Mm-hmm.
middle order, bowling left arm orthodox, and did well enough to get a spot in the national trials for the senior trials. So I went
Yeah.
to the youth tournament in the summer of '84, and by when trials would have started on about October, November with the senior trials, I got into
Mm-hmm.
the senior trials based on the performance in youth cricket.
Performance. Oh, so,
Yeah,
so what was the
yeah.
call like what was the feeling like when that call came for the first for the trials? Because I know
Well,
it's a big thing
excited,
here.
Yeah, man, excited. I mean, if you can imagine being only maybe about 16 at the time,
Yeah.
still in school, and you're dreaming about playing big time cricket and so on, and you're getting a chance now to go and rub shoulders with people who you would have looked up to as stars. You're talking about Robert
Mm-hmm.
Haynes and Matt
Yes.
Neita and Courtney
Oh.
Walsh and all of those people who you used to grow up and you used to skull school to go and watch them play for
Yeah,
Jamaica. And now
I
you are
know, I
being
know,
asked,
I know.
yeah, and now you are being asked to go and rub shoulders with them in preparation
Yeah.
for the senior team. So it was a very good feeling.
So in terms of appearance, though, I don't know if mom and dad were around at that time when the call
Yes,
came through. What was
yeah,
the
yeah,
feeling?
yeah.
How did they react?
Everybody was happy for you. You know, they knew that it was something
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
was aspiring to. So they were very supportive and glad for me. You know, the whole family.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
man.
I gather it would have been even more excitement when you got the Senior the call for the West Indies team this time around.
Yeah, man. Same kind of thing. You know,
Same thing.
it's like
Hmm.
when you look back, you know, the highlights tend to be for me tend to be all the first. So
Hmm.
first time playing for Jamaica under 19s, first time playing for Port Maria Primary. All the first carry that level of
Yeah.
excitement because
Special. Hmm.
yeah, man, you want to get to a certain level, and you know you have to go through different stages. So every time you get every time you make it to a next level for the first time, there's that
Yeah.
sense of excitement, and there's that sense that the journey is taking you closer and closer to that goal. You know, and the
Mhm.
international team would have been similar. You know, it would have
Yeah.
been a goal that I would have had for many years, and to finally get there was a very good feeling.
Oh, we reached all the way up to West Indies, but I didn't remember the. What about intercal? Did you guys play intercollegiate cricket back then?
When you say intercollegiate, what you mean?
Just like we have primary school cricket, high school cricket. When you go to college, you have the college league.
Oh, well, I didn't go to college, you know. I didn't do anything after
Hmm.
high school, so I only played
Oh, so
up to
you
high
went
school
straight
cricket.
through. You went straight through.
Yeah,
Oh.
I didn't play
Hmm.
intercollegiate. No, 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 no. I don't even
Okay.
think that there was. I mean, in those days,
Hmm.
not even then. Before my time, the University of West Indies used to have a senior cup team, but when I was coming through as a junior playing club cricket,
Oh.
the University of West Indies used to play a junior cup. So
Hmm.
collegiate cricket
There wasn't
sports
collegiate, yeah.
generally. No, they
Hmm.
didn't. The colleges in those days did not really support. You know, the tertiary institutions were not sports minded. That is a recent phenomenon. So
Yeah.
if you're doing full time sport like I chose to
Mhm.
do, you had to
Chose
give
to
up
do,
on it.
yeah,
Yeah, you
and go
couldn't do both.
straight. Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I guess it's the age because when I started college and all of that, it was a lot of excitement between GC, Foster, Micro,
Correct,
UE, and
correct,
UTEP
correct,
because of the age now.
correct. Yeah, man. The
Hmm.
only sport that had intercollegiate was track and field. Because you know
Track and field.
When you go to Gibson Relays
Oh.
back in the day, all of those
Hmm.
tertiary institutions could put teams into the Gibson Relay
Hmm.
event. But cricket and football, no. In terms of the pathway
Pathway, yeah.
to high performance cricket, the
Hmm.
tertiary institutions didn't play a role in those.
Yeah, I understand. All right,
Yeah.
so fast forward to the first time you played for West Indies. It would have been 1992, right?
Yes, against South Africa.
South
I
Africa, yeah.
made my debut in a test match in
Hmm.
Barbados against South Africa. Good game, interesting because nobody turned out to watch it because the people were
Yeah,
protesting. The locals in Barbados
yeah,
were
yeah.
protesting that one of their players didn't get selected. So nobody was at the
Oh.
ground apart from the players and a few
Mm.
South African supporters that had come in on the plane with them with the players. So but it was still a good game. Up to the start of day 5, South Africa
Hmm.
looked as if they were going to be certain winners, and then Walsh and Ambrose did what Walsh and Ambrose did so often
That's
in
it.
those days. They,
Yeah.
they kind of turned it around on the last day. So it was a very exciting game, and it was, apart from being the first international game for me, you know, I managed to get a score in the second inning. So
Hmm.
even on a personal level, it was very enjoyable.
Was
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, and we're talking about players like, as I said, Walsh, Ambrose. We had who was the captain then? Was it Sir Richie Richardson at the
It
time?
was it was Sir Richie Richardson. You had people like Desmond Haynes, Carl Hooper, Lara,
Patrick.
uh,
Hmm.
Patrick Patterson, Keith Atherton,
The
David
current
Williams, I think,
coach,
was the wicketkeeper. Phil Simmons,
Phil
yes,
Simmons
Phil
was
Simmons.
there. Hmm.
Phil Simmons played in that game, yeah. So a lot of again, for me it was surreal because these were guys that I had, like I said, I used to school to go and watch these guys play
Yeah,
both
yeah.
international and territorial games. So now you start in the same you sit down in a team meeting and you look around the room and like you have to pinch yourself and say, boy, you really sit down with them man in
Really
the same
here.
room. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. So and you said that you got a score in the second innings. You can recall what score it was at that back then?
I think I scored.
I'm
I
not
think I scored 78 or 79 in the second inning, which
Oh.
kind of helped us get something semi-competitive to work with and things. In the end, I mean, we won by far more than I thought we would have won by. But yeah, it was just good to you know your first time out and you get a score and it helps to contribute to the result. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah, man.
So you went on to score 14 50s and 6 centuries in tests.
Apparently.
Yeah, I am hoping the information is correct here. So what was the feeling like crossing the first landmark?
Yeah,
the first landmark would be the 50, then the century. What was it like?
It's hard to put it into words even now, because you live in a dream really. These are things that you had dreamt about doing from you were a little boy growing up, and you hear people talking about these things. When you hear people used to talk about like Lawrence Rowe and Basil Williams and Maurice Foster, Jeffrey Dujan and all these people. And you sort of, as you are making your progression through the ranks, you are ticking off boxes that you have heard that they did. So you heard that Dujan played West Indies under 19. So you know when you get into the West Indies under 19, you say, well, okay, fine. If he did it, then I could do it. You know what I mean? And
I understand.
Yeah, man. So you get an opportunity and you get a score and you start to say, okay, you know, Jeffrey Dujan scored a test. You know, he has test 50s. I have one now. So you're measuring yourself against these great players who went before you. But just in terms of the personal satisfaction, you know, it's hard work to get there. It's hard work to stay there. And when you get your good days, you treasure them because it's the good days that keep you working. You know, when you're out of form and you don't feel like training, it's those memories that make you put on your shoes and go and run the laps and run the hills and run the miles and hit another 1,000 balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But when I was reading up on some of the information last night, I don't know if you're trying to be modest, but the way in which you started out the test cricket was actually good because I saw something on the ESPN Cricket Info that say, I think they were saying in your first 12 games you were matching Sir Dan Bradman's record in terms of the amount of runs that you would have scored in the first 12 matches. I think at 87 average.
Yeah, I don't know if it was an aggregate. I think that they were saying that the average was only second to Dan Bradman after similar tests or something to that effect. But the truth is, I got a decent start. But those test matches were spread out over a long time because I think my first maybe 9 tests or so, I was only playing as a replacement. So if somebody got injured, because it was hard to get into the team in those days, you know. So you'd go in, a senior man gets injured, and you go in and you play a test. You make a score, but you have to sit out again when the senior man comes back into the team and stuff like that. So because it was a very strong and competitive team in those days. I didn't get those first 8 or 9 tests back to back. You know, it was you come in, you play a test. So, but it was a sign of the times. It was a competitive team, and guys were scoring runs, and you had senior guys in front of you. You also had people pushing up from below you in regional cricket, so you could not really afford. If you got an opportunity, you had to try really hard to leave a score so that when another spot opens up, if somebody got injured again, they would come back to you and not overlook you. So it was very, very competitive. But thankfully, I managed to get through that period and put in some performances along the way.
And even went on to captain the team. You even went on to captain the team.
It was an honor, really. That was my last year of international cricket. But it was a wonderful experience. First of all, it's an honor to be asked to do it, and I learned a lot from doing it over that last year of my career. I enjoyed it. Hard work and pressure, but I enjoyed it. And as I said, I learned a lot from it, from the experience, and you know, it's something that I will treasure. That you know, you not only played.
Yeah, man, it's an honor to captain West Indies team, man.
Well, it certainly was for me at that time in my life.
Mm.
It's something that I will treasure for the rest of my life, without a doubt.
Yeah.